Hello everybody and welcome to our last edition of our Modern Master set review. I am Evan Irwin.
I'm Brad Nelson and I'm okay now.
It's all right.
We figured it out.
There was some fisticuffs, as they call them, I think.
You mean I was just beating you up?
Maybe.
There's no challenge there.
Oh, I see how it is. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, run the brags. Run the brags. Let's see how that works out for you, buddy.
Just got a good cheap shot in. It's
nice, obviously. So in this video, we're going to be talking about all of the multicolor and artifact and land cards in Modern Masters. There's a lot of them, and there's a lot of sweet ones.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. So we're going to start off with Cold-Eyed Sulky. That's a cool one. I actually have a foil one of these like on my desk at home, just like hanging out. I actually see it all the time. So I was just like, Cold-Eyed Sulky, that's a cool card. I see it all the time. It was in my cube for a long time. It's a fun card. Like you want it to be the ultimate Ophidian. Sometimes it is. Most of the time it's not.
Yeah, like if you ever get to like equip it. Like I think in the limited format it's a little bit better because this is a green card that also can fight the island deck. So you can like board it in when you play against Island Walk, and there's not a lot of removal for it. Plus, there's common Moldervine cloaks that happen. So, like, I think we're going to find it's doing most of its damage in this format.
I agree. I like, you know, and that's where it did most of its damage back in the Eventide. You know, like, it was great and limited. It just never hit constructed, and there's a reason for that. Ultimately, it's just too powered down for a 3-mana 1/1. But when you have limited, you know, where it can really shine, by God, it shines. So, I don't pick it super early, but, like, if I'm in green, I want this beyond my bombs, and I don't know about removal.
Yeah, no.
Not over your removal, but it's really good thereafter.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's super sweet. Demigod of Revenge.
I wish they just like changed the rules for this card. This card's still just like, I never got by it, but I just hated how it worked. So, well, explain it for.
Okay, so what would happen is back in the day, if you countered Demigod of Revenge, you had to like let the trigger resolve first, or you would. Let's see, what would happen here?
So what would happen is that your opponent plays Demigod of Revenge, and you just go counter it.
And then
back in the day, you were forced for a trigger. Yeah, they're like, okay, so the trigger resolves, which says bring back all cards named Demigod from the graveyard, which means the one that you just countered comes back into play.
Yes.
And so, like, I don't know if that works now because I think if you don't announce your own triggers, like back then you didn't have to announce triggers; they just happened. But now I don't know if like if you don't announce the trigger, like I think you have to play Demigod and say trigger before your opponent does anything. So if you go Demigod and they're like counter it, you missed your trigger. I don't know.
I'm not 100% on that, to be honest. I'm not sure.
I don't even know if it like comes back into play in game 2 because you counter in game 1. It's just like it's a horrible card, and I wish it just never came back.
It's a terrific card that defined its era in Standard, was good, was played, was scary, and then got a lot of people with that stupid trick where you stack thing. And you're just like, Demigod of Revenge, and they're like, Cryptic Command, draw a card, and you're like, okay, resolve trigger, bring back 3 Demigod of Revenges, kill you. Like,
yeah, my brother actually went 5-3 at Nationals one year or something. I think 5-3, and 3 losses to Demigod triggers. Like he just kept countering it over and over again.
It was sad, and it was unfortunate. And but basically, as a card, I think it's really cool. In a limited environment, if you're black and red, you kind of have to be not any other colors. Yeah. But if you are black and red, he's a dragon. He's a 5-mana, 5/4 haste flyer. Like, don't worry about his other text. It's kind of ridiculous and silly and limited. It's whatever. But like, as a creature, if you're in those colors, specifically, he ends games. He is a real dragon man. Do not underestimate him. If you're in red and green, if you're in black and blue, don't. No. You'll just feel bad.
You can Boris Reckoner in a Gruul deck. You can't Demigod of Revenge in a Dimir deck.
Yeah,
there's not possible.
3 hybrid versus 5 hybrid. Yeah. That's a heck of a jump. That's a heck of one. Speaking of Divinity of Pride, it's no Baron, you know.
No, it's not.
Of Viscopa, but
it's close because it's flying already, and I think that's like a very important thing.
That was a good thing, and that's an important thing. It's sort of one of those that was very cutely designed. You know what I mean? Like you need 25 or more life, so you got to hit twice. You got to gain life in some other way. Now, of course, if you've gained life before he comes out, then rah, congratulations. That never happens. You know, like it's cute in Commander because it like auto already. You know, it sort of auto has the bonus, so it's a 5-mana 8/8 flyer. That's awesome with lifelink.
I didn't think about that. That's sweet.
Yeah, Commander, like it's absolutely cool. It's one of those cards that like sells out. All these Spirit Avatars from Eventide have all been like super popular in Commander, the Godhead of all and all that type of stuff. All that stuff is really expensive just because they're super unique.
Yeah.
They're not able to be reprinted in any other set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you need a super hybrid set for this card to ever be reprinted again. Or you need a Modern Masters, which is some other cards we've talked about being reprinted in that way. So ultimately, Divinity of Pride, you have to be in black and white. You have to be the Rebel deck. Like, if you're not the black-white deck,
you want to be the black-white deck with this card. Like,
absolutely. I mean, it's a sweet card. It's just that it won't push you in black-white by itself. And if you're not black and white, don't pick it. And you can also get it late for that reason. Like, drafters who at least know what's going on, they understand that if they're not in both of those colors, this card is useless.
Yeah.
But if you're in both of those colors, this card is awesome. So, much like Demigod of Revenge, we're in the same boat. Electrolyze, however,
one of the all-time favorites. It's just like such a good value card. It's like, I want to kill this creature, and I want to kill that creature, and I want to draw this card. And that's what it did. It just blows you out sometimes. It just kills 2 guys, and you draw a card.
I kill your Thallid, and I kill your other Thallid, and I draw a card, and I'm high-fiving my buddy. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I'm playing.
And then they realize, then your opponent's like, you don't draw a card because I just sacked both of my Thalids. Congratulations.
And you're like,
that was I should have just targeted you for one of those.
But it doesn't matter because you're still going to draw the card. Yep. You still draw the card, even if the targets are invalid.
Really?
Yep. Because drawing a card is not dependent on them actually being dealt the damage. So even if, like, the spell continues to try to resolve, even if parts of it can't resolve. I learned that in a feature match at Grand Prix Detroit. Many years ago.
I don't even think that's true.
That's true.
I thought if a spell has a target and the target becomes invalid, then the spell is countered. If it doesn't have a target, it resolves.
Okay, well, if both of the creatures are not there...
I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Fine. Whatever.
I'm almost 100%.
I'm not 100% sure, and I'm sure the judges of the world just tell us in the comments. We read them, we see them. It's cool. Yeah. One of us is right. It's not a big deal. Either way, the spell remains awesome.
Well, obviously the spell is just insane.
The spell remains insane. It is removable. You pick it right after bombs. Like, Electrolyze is a sick one. If you're in red and blue, you want to see this card.
Yeah, it's unbelievably awesome.
Speaking of an awesome, awesome card, oh my God, Figure of Destiny is real. If you're white or you're red, if you're white and red, it's even better.
I like how this is alphabetized, but I do feel like it's just going through all the guilds right now. Like, we're just hitting one of each.
We're hitting Boros, and, you know, Reckoner is one thing, but Figure of Destiny is way better.
When this card came out, we were all just like, oh my God. Like, this was not a card that snuck up on anyone. This was like, everyone's just like, this is insane.
Oh, when it was, the instant it was spoiled, they're like, all right, it's the best card in the set. Like,
yeah,
it's obvious, like, one of the best one-drops ever made of all time, and what are they doing?
And then it taught us all about layers. And that was a fun and interesting time in Magic.
Layers, and how layers apply to this, and how the 2/2 replaces the, you know, the 4/4 replaces the 2/2, and, you know, the layers of the different types are on top of it, and yada yada. But, like, there was a deck called Scred Red. It was mono red.
Yeah.
You used Scred, you used Snowlands, because Scred dealt damage to a creature equal to the number of snow permanents you control. So you would just 1 red to kill anything, and you would play figures, and you would kill them with it, because figures are awesome. Like,
it's also in just mono white decks with Kithkins.
Yeah, mono white loved it. Of course, they could play them. You know, they could play Mana Tides, of course, which were awesome. I mean, this guy defined Standard while he was in it. He was absolutely sweet every minute he was in it. I loved him.
Yeah, he was very good.
Now he's in my cube. He will stay there. You pick him early if you are in either, or in particular, both of those colors.
Yeah,
like he is.
You'll just win the game. Like, think about it. If you're on the play, you go Figure Destiny. On turn 2, you make him a 2/2 and attack. On turn 3, he's a 4/4 attacking in limited.
That's amazing.
He's a 4/4 that's attacking in limited.
Rawr.
And then on turn 6, he just kills you. Like, kills your opponent. It's just dead. It's just done.
He's so good. Now, Grand Arbiter Augustin IV
was one of the most annoying cards ever.
One of the most annoying cards ever. Oh my God. Even today, like, this card still lives in my cube because, like, just a few weeks ago, I can't do nothing. I'm like, the stupid Grand Arbiter. I can cast 1 spell a turn. All of your stuff is cheaper. Like, I don't want to put all these resources into killing this guy, but I can't let him live. He's not big enough to actually scare us or anything. Like, this guy is value. If you are the blue-white deck, he is so, so good.
And he's also, like, here in this format to help fight against the Storm decks. It's, like, really crucial against that.
Yeah, Storm decks can't beat this card. Like, they have to kill them or bounce them before anything else happens, and they'll do that.
Yep.
It's just that he makes them jump through that extra hoop, and that's what you want to happen, essentially. You know, I love this card from the moment I saw it. It's been in my cube ever since I've had a cube. Like, it's just a great, great card. You will love it if you're in blue-white. It's not a super windmill bomb slam, but it's
close. It's really good. It's
really
annoying to pay the extra mana. Tempo is just like really big with this card.
It's that sort of Thalia factor that everyone kind of dismisses, but when Thalia is out on the battlefield, she does such a huge impact. This card makes a huge impact for every player, not just them having to play around it, but you getting all your stuff cheaper. You'll be able to start playing two spells a turn instead of just one.
Or you get to play card, draw spell, and another spell. Like that's the big thing.
It is sweet. So Jorah of the Githu, this to me is, they have a suspend theme in this set, which is cool. But this is largely, I think, a gift to the Commander players. Yeah,
that's what it is. Like, this is just a card that they want to print out because for some reason people like this card. I never understood it.
Well, I understand it, but the foil is worth like $1 million. The foil from Future Sight or whatever. Oh yeah, it's insane because there's only so many made. Like, it's a really sweet commander. You know, your commander comes down on turn 3, and you can suspend Tooth and Nail for for 4 turns.
Cool.
You can suspend whatever.
Well, you can't suspend. Yeah, you can't suspend Tooth and Nail.
Well, you could.
You can't put a green card in your deck if that's your commander.
Oh, you're right. Well, sorry.
Commander rules.
Oh no, I get wrecked.
Well,
that's
you
what
can
happens
go
when
get
I talk about
Obliterate.
Commander. You can go get Obliterate.
And then put some like flyer after that, and then the Obliterate comes off, and then the flyer comes off.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you suspend like a burn spell and world fire. You know what I mean? Like, there's dumb things that you can do with Jorah. There's fun things that you can do with Jorah. And this to me is like, it's a gift. If you're in the blue-red Storm deck, like, you're probably going to play it. And you know why you're going to play it? Because it got passed really late to you. Like, no one's going to be fighting.
It's just a 2/2 for 3. You can fight with it, or you can like suspend something.
Yeah, no one's going to be like itching to make this card happen, which means you're going to be able to get it late. I do not first pick this in any world ever. You just need, I mean, even in the Storm deck, there has to be something better than this, because you could wheel Jorah pretty much no problem. I don't see anyone either rare drafting it is a thing, or they're hating it because they don't want you to have it. But like, it's not a card I'm like, oh my god, Jorah's sweet, like versus like Glacial Ray, or versus like, I don't know, versus another Grape Shot. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, some people will, because they like read that and it's like any spell.
I can what? You know, I can wait 4 turns on a spell.
Yeah. After investing 3 mana into this 2/2, count me in.
Oh wow, that won't end poorly. Kitchen Finks. This is a $12 uncommon right now, ladies and gentlemen.
It's unbelievable. Well, the card is really good.
Card is dumb, awesome.
Yeah, it's still extremely powerful, even in like with how good cards have been lately. Just being able to gain 2 and then 2 more life. I mean, you get a 3/2 and then you get a 2/1, and they just trade with everything. It's a green and a white card. It just does everything. People love gaining life.
Do you know why this card has 3 power?
No.
Revelark.
Oh, they just didn't want it to come back with Revelark?
Literally, that's why it has 3 power.
That's very cool.
That's why I think it's actually so powerful.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't a 3/2, if it was just a 2/2, which is what it was originally designed as, it would have been a fair card. It would have been a, like a good design. It would have been a fine design. It'd have been a gray ogre, blah, blah, blah. But like, as a 3/2 for 3 that gains 2 life, like that was the push. Yeah. That was the push it needed. And all of a sudden it was like, oh wow, like this card is for real. So that I've loved it ever since I've seen it. The foil is in my cube, isn't going anywhere. You know, like I love me some Kitchen Finks. I love the name.
I love what they're doing.
Right, like this is a super, super good creature. So you're going to pick this really early. You know, if it's not bombs and it's not a removal spell, you absolutely want this next.
Plus, like, it's hybrid. So, like, starting with a hybrid card isn't that bad because it's green or white. So you can just go in either direction.
Right, and it's good in any green deck, any white deck. Like, there's not like, oh, it's bad in the Thala deck. No, it's great because it's a sweet creature.
It's 2 creatures,
Yes, and it's gaining you 4 life, over the course of its existence and yada, yada. Like, it's really, really good. Super good. There's a reason that's $12 in common because it's played in everything. So you'll get a lot of value out of it. Speaking of super good cards, played in lots of things.
I would want to first place this card because it's so good and limited. Knight of the Reliquary is like a good constructor card, but it's so bonkers and limited. Just
People
absolutely
don't know.
Bonkers.
People don't know how good it is.
It is so good. So it's a mana elf that every time you use it gets bigger and thins your deck out so all you do is draw spells. It like slowly just takes over the game. Like there's like this tension around turn 6. You're like, do I want to cast another big spell or just attack with my 7/7? It's so good.
It helps get domain. Yeah. Like it just gets bigger and bigger. Like, it's cool. Like, for me, there was this, you know, back when Conflux first came out, and, you know, people were talking about this card and that card and the other card, and I was just like, Knight of the Reliquary, I got a feeling about this card.
Yeah.
It seems really, really good. Now, at the time, there weren't sort of all the pieces there to put it together. At the time, you know, it wasn't played in Legacy, and that was crazy talk, you know. Like, but I'm like, guys, this card seems just really dumb because it's a land card. It works with fetch lands. This is in Legacy. But, you know, in Limited, like you said, you know, you're going to tap the land, then you're going to tap Knight of Reliquary to go get another one. It comes into play untapped. It can be any land of any, you know, of any type, and then you're just going to be able to play something else. You're going to get domain super fast. You're able to ramp up super fast. Like, the green-white deck wants this. It's not, oh, gosh. I'm trying to think, is this bomb-worthy?
Yes.
It's pretty bomby.
No, this is bomb-worthy. This is
pretty bomby.
I will not take a common or uncommon over this card. There's not even a chance.
Yeah,
not a single card.
It's got to be mythic. Like,
it's got to be a foil mythic. Yeah.
It's got to be Yosei.
I mean, let's just let them decide when they have foil versus non-foil, rare and mythics. Like, they can decide. Let's just say you take this over every common uncommon because it does have a huge impact. Like, it slowly gets bigger. It excels you. It fixes your mana. Right. This is like the dream card. Like, I want to open this, and this is like the only card that I want to play more than the artifact deck.
Oh, Knight of the Reliquary, man. Whew.
Yeah, it's so good.
Good times. Absolutely awesome. Lightning Helix.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one, too. It's not that bad.
Well, they couldn't reprint it because Snapcaster Mage exists.
Yeah.
Thanks, Snaps. So we get War Leader Helix, and you're just like, sorry, it's not as exciting because Snapcaster Mage exists.
I really feel like they should have just made a fixed Lightning Helix and just made it cost colorless red-white and just be a functional reprint except for 3 mana.
That would almost feel bad, though.
Why?
Because I mean, like, In Your Face is a better version, like a strictly better version.
But not in Standard where there's all these creatures attacking me.
I agree. It'd see a lot more play than War Leader's Helix does. But War Leader's Helix, for what it's worth, does see play.
I mean, but not a lot, yeah.
Yeah, but Lightning Helix.
And those decks are really bad.
Yes, but Lightning Helix would see a ton of play.
Well, yeah, Lightning Helix is absolutely absurd.
It would be a defining spell in the format.
I mean, no, it would make the current format terrible. How many times is just like on turn 2, kill your thing, untap Boros Reckoner, like nice aggressive deck? That would be miserable. And then Snapcaster Helix on turn 4. Like, that just sounds horrible. I don't want to play Magic in that format.
Yeah, it is absolutely bad. I mean, they made the right decision in that it should not, you know, be included in Standard. So with that, you know, why is it not included in Standard? Because it's crazy, really good. It's crazy powerful. You're going to see it here in the Boros decks, in the aggressive decks, in the Figure of Destiny decks. Like, I mean, it's an all-star. It always was. It always will be. It's Healing Salve plus Lightning Bolt. Like, doesn't matter. Lightning Bolt plus something that costs 1 mana, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a really good Helix. Doesn't really matter. Super, super good. This is your removal that we talk about after taking bombs. If you're in these colors, you want this card. And the art's cool. The art's a cool one. Maelstrom Pulse, which is the GP promo art.
And it's like amazing art. I love this art.
This is super sweet art. I like it a lot. You know, this is the kill target thing. This is the kill target Saprolings. Kill target Goblins from Empty the Warrens. You know, like, I love how they put in a lot of subtle answers to these really cool cards in the set while giving you like a legitimately awesome card that you want, you know, just in Modern, that you want in foil for your cubes and your commander decks. Like, it's just good.
Oh yeah, when they printed this card, it was amazing. It's just proven itself. It sees play in Legacy. It's a big card in Modern. Like, card is just awesome. Like, take it. It's a good first pick because it just kills everything.
Yep, it does all the things. So Morphos has the most amazing art. Oh my God!
It is so good.
Oh my God!
It can't be better. It's like the most beautiful art ever.
Look at all the colors. I mean, even the tattoos on the guy's arm.
I think it's going to be one of the most expensive originals. Like, it's so good.
I think the foils of this card are going to be worth infinite dollars. Just DI, buy every single one you can. I can't wait. I just think it's beautiful. I mean, look at this thing. It's amazing. Now, to talk about the card itself, it's cool because it fixes your mana. It's cool because it's hybrid. It's great because it draws a card. Like, it's not as good as a bomb. It's not as good as removal. It's not as good like a great creature like a Kitchen Finks or Eternal Witness or whatever. But this is a card you want in the Storm deck.
Yes.
It's a card that you want to You know, fix your mana if you've gone like the crazy too many mana decks. You know, I'm splashing all the good cards I have. I hope I can make it all work with my green mana. You know, that type of thing. But it's largely a Storm card.
Yeah, no, that's definitely where it's at. And it used to be common, now it's uncommon because we've learned how free spells are very good. They're just too good. Like last time we did a set review, we saw Burning Charm, so we didn't know how busted it was actually going to be. Like, but they're free. If it's free or if it just like cycles for a Storm counter, they're unbelievably good. And Morphos is absolutely amazing. It's going to make the Storm deck super powerful. When you cast this card compared to when you don't, you're going to see a huge difference.
Right. I mean, I think, you know, Burning Tree Emissary is just the latest, and like, no matter how bad it looks, if it's free, it's probably sweet. Like, and Morphos is one of the first cards to really show you the power of that. And like, that common card is like not cheap. And so, you know, this version, which looks way better, is not going to be any cheaper. So get your copies as soon as possible. I think it's great. It works where it works, and where it don't, leave it alone. Mind Funeral, it's like a $5 uncommon, by the way.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad they brought it back because like it's just that expensive. But I just hate Meal, man. I just hate Meal.
It's fine.
I know.
They don't want to push it too hard in this set. I don't feel like there's not a lot of mill cards. There's not a big mill strategy. You know, there's not the Demir guys that tap, you know, to mill cards or whatever. It's just, I think this is sort of like a fan favorite.
Oh, yeah.
This is a, hey, guys, you like this card. It's worth a bunch of money for no reason other than you guys like it. So we'll make more of it. You know, so that's to me why it exists.
It does work in the Arcane deck pretty well. I mean, it doesn't?
Arcane?
Well, the Mill Arcane deck, like you still would just run this, wouldn't you?
Oh, you're right. That's fair. The Dampened Thought deck. The Dampened Thought deck that I like so much. Yes. So in the Dampened Thought deck, yes, I guess you pair it with black is the best way because there are some arcane spells in there. There's more arcane spells in green, but then you're like totally
But you're already Kodama's reaching. Like, don't you just do it all?
Right. I mean, ideally you would want to. You're kind of reaching, but it exists. I'm glad it exists. That's all I got. It's not, if you're the Dampened Thought deck, okay. If you're drafting for value, okay. That's all you got. Murderous Red Cap.
That guy's so good. So, like, just being able to come into play, kill a guy, and then you can, like, trade up to a 3/3 with him and keep a 1/1 around. He works with Revelark. I'm a big Murderous Red Cap fan. I used to combo with him in, like, the Project X kind of decks or the Revelark decks. Like, all of them, he's just, like, he's a sweet combo piece. I mean, he's comboing right now in all of the Malira pod decks.
Yeah, basically, that's the way, you know, you bring him back, you sacrifice him, he comes back, Malira doesn't let him get counters, so he just deals you damage, sacrifice him, he comes back, yada, 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 yada. So, like, the power of Murderous Red Cap is not to be underestimated. He's been in my cube from the day he was printed. He's amazing.
I killed you with him the first time I played in your cube.
I know. He's super sweet. He goes in aggressive decks, he goes in combo decks. Like, you know, if you're playing black, if you're playing red, you love this guy just because he's so good.
Yeah, he's just a very good value creature.
And he looks so weird.
I mean, he's a Goblin Assassin. I mean, have you ever seen a different Goblin Assassin?
I don't know, but apparently they're just, like, completely insane. Like, that's awesome. I've always loved this.
The best is he's not even cleaning. He's actually bloodying up.
Right. He's actually just got his hand, like, bleeding all over his sword.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're in black, you're in red. You're going to love Murderous Red Cap. It's terrific. Una, speaking of big, nasty bombs.
Yeah, this card is absolutely disgusting. The best part about an Una is you personally don't know if you're going to mill them or kill them. You don't, you're just racing both. You're just crushing them because of this card, though.
Like, I wish I had not gotten smashed by elementals in the top 8 of that lower and block PTQ, because the last round, playing for top 8, I was playing Kithkin, mono white. He played an Una. He taps like 6 mana, and he points to me and he goes, Una naming blue. No, I mean white. No, I mean white. And I'm just like, Judge? I'm like, look, man, I'm a tournament player. We're in a tournament setting. This is all you, buddy. And the judge comes over, and I literally say, like, here's what happened. He said, blue, ... No, I mean white. And the judge said, is that what happened? The guy's like, yeah, that's what happened. He's like, sorry you named blue.
Oh, God.
That's how I got him. I felt bad. I did.
Yeah.
But, like, look, man, like, these are your cards. This is how you do it. And, you know, part of Una just mills them away. Like, if it did nothing but mill cards, it would be sweet. But the fact that you can, like, name a color, get the value, get flyers out of it, like,
It's a bomb. It's such a good limited bomb.
Super dragony, bomby boom booms.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of removal for it either.
Right.
Like, there's not much at all, actually.
There's a few things. I guess there's Death Rattle will kill it.
Yeah, Death Rattle.
I mean, you're going to otherwise like X for 1 yourself in some gross way. But yeah, needless to say, Una's great. I love this picture. I'm glad they didn't change it.
Yep.
Super powerful, super balmy. Enjoy it. Plume Veil, surprise!
I always liked this card. I think it's sweet that it came back. Like, it was fun in all of the Cruel Tomatum decks.
Yep.
And I just like it. It's
5-color deck, yeah. You used to play all that stuff.
It's useful. I think it might see some play, maybe not.
Maybe. I like it. For me, I've always loved the picture. Again, one of those. I'm glad they didn't change it. I love the idea of all the wings and all the sort of the winged creatures creating this thing that stops you.
Yeah.
Which is sweet. It's, for me, it's only 3 white or 3 blue. Like, it's a powerful card for what it is. Super wall, comes out of nowhere, freaks out your opponent, normally eats a guy, and then just stays out there forever. Like, really, really good. Not a high pick, but certainly one that if you're in the white-blue sort of skies deck, this is the card you want because it pops in immediately. Absolutely terrific. Progeny Toss.
Now, this is the challenge. Cast this card in Modern Masters Limited, and you win 1 month of free premium.
What?
That we can't really redeem in any way.
What are you talking about?
I'm not really good at promotion. That's not.
I was going to say.
I'm joking.
You can. I want you to cast it in Modern Masters Limited. I want you to take a picture of it and figure out how you did it. I'm guessing it's going to involve like a bunch of Kodama's reaches and some Manamorphoses, and you kind of like holding your face funny in the ear thing, and like maybe you got there. I mean, Progeny Toss is a sweet card. They kind of made it not that. They've kind of been trumping it ever since they made it. Rise of Eldrazi.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
These Gristlebrand and Emrakul's and
right. I mean, the Elvish Norns, for God's sake, like they push creatures and they push creatures and they push creatures. So in Conflux, this was like, oh my God, I can't believe it's not a creature, but it's a creature. These days it's like, okay, it's fine. It's way too hard to cast. It should be. There's no natural orders that let you kind of sneak it out. I think this is right above Jukin as like, the not awesome mythic. It's like, okay, you're not going to be able to really play it in your decks. I would not play it in my deck.
No, don't be Louis Scott Vargas and play it in your Pro Tour block constructed deck.
Yeah.
With counter spells and cascade spells. Still just bitter that my first round at a Pro Tour was against Luis and he was playing that deck and he beat me.
At least so good. You're good. Well, I got to play him round 2 in Nationals.
Yeah.
When he was playing Fairies and I was playing 5-color. Yeah, I lost that one.
And Sean Plotz played him at 1-3 at the last Pro Tour.
Right.
And then after that match, Luis won and then didn't lose a match until he got Platinum in top 16.
It's true. He won all the way out. And if you read his report, like, there was a point where he could have lost and he didn't. But whatever.
Yeah.
Point is, Progeny Toss is a card that is cool. It's here for the fans. It's here because they want more to exist.
Yep.
It is not going anywhere near your decks. Don't do it. Don't play it. You get it for value. Sargonval is. If you're in red and green, he's a good man. He's not a great man. He's a good man.
Yes, he's just a mediocrely decent man. But he does go up in 3 turns. So if you protect him for 3 turns, you get dragons. And I like me dragons.
I love me some dragons. Like the going from 4 to 5 immediately. Like the problem with Sargonval, Sargonval was actually the one that everyone was super excited about. When he was spoiled, oh my God, everyone started freaking out over Sargonval. He was the super hot pre-order, not this Elspeth girl. And it was all Sargonval. And eventually they're like, wait, a Johnny Vengeance exists. Like, wait, Elspeth exists. And they're all
these are just way better.
Yeah, once you started playing Sargonval, this was back when no one realized that Planeswalkers have to protect themselves to be really good, to actually be format defining. And because he didn't, he just immediately dropped off the map. People really tried. People put them in their decks, and they just didn't work out.
Yeah, no, I played against this card a lot, and you would get the 5 dragons in limited a lot, but in constructed it was just a very bad card.
Right, but in limited, you're legitimately your game plan is this is a suspend 5 4/4 flying dragons for 2 turns.
You just have to survive.
Can I make it 2 turns? Play it, up it, go. Up it, go. Okay, dragons.
All right. Game's over.
Sweet. That's why it is. So if you're in green, you're in red, this will make me splash because I like Planeswalkers and it's good.
Yep.
You know, if you're in the green deck that has the Sentinel Wood Readers and all the Thalids, like, chances are you're going to be able to get your dragons.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And even you don't even need your dragons. You can just give them +1/+1 and attack with all of them.
Exactly, because you get all these Thalids, yeah. Get your dragons, okay? Tide Hollow Sculler, a good man.
One of my favorite guys. I still have just one Tide Hollow just sitting around in my standard box. I don't know why, but I won't remove it. It's just like I really like the card. I want it to come back. Like
a good card. I love the art on it. It's sweet. Like when you're in black-white, when you're in the black-white Rebels or whatever, like a lot of it is about like weenies with lots of advantages. And this is a weenie with an advantage. Like, you know, you take their best card, you take their best removal, you take their super bomb.
Or you take their curve card, which is also really good. Like, you can just take their 3-drop,
right.
And then once it finally dies, they just get this 3-drop back in a part of the game that it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
So you've actually just made a card completely dead.
Yep. I mean, it depends, of course, sort of what they show you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if it's blah, blah, Elspeth, blah, blah, it's like, it doesn't matter what of those cards
were.
Yeah,
I'm taking Elspeth.
You're just taking Elspeth, and then this guy's, like, never attacking ever.
Yeah.
You know, but otherwise, you know, this is a card sort of, it's Mesmeric Fiend 2.0, bigger, stronger, scarier, and that's the way I like them. It's a sweet one. I like it. It's the fact that it's back. Trigon Predator.
With another, like, new weird art.
Look at that weirdo art with the dragon and, like, the Middle Eastern type tops of the castles.
Yeah, it's pretty unique, but Trigon Predator was, like, unbelievable for so long. Like, it was proven
really
like extended. It's going to be good in this form because there are a lot of artifacts. So like, I do like that it gets to nom on all the artifacts.
Yeah, man, I love the fact that Trigon Predator has, I think it's reached its way into Legacy, or not Legacy, into Vintage almost.
Oh, really?
I believe I've seen that happen.
Wow.
Now, I don't know. Like Trigon being something, like being what it is, which is when it deals combat damage to a player, you disenchant. In a format built by Moxes and stupidly powerful things, it's good. I just took Trigon Predator out of my cube, which has been somewhat controversial. I got some pushback, got some sadness, but ultimately when he was super good back in the day, he just sort of got less and less good as creatures got better.
Yeah.
The creatures began to do the things that the artifacts and enchantments were going to be doing for you.
Yeah.
It gave you all the value, it gave you all the push, and so a 3-mana 2/3 flyer all of a sudden was like
kind of just mediocre. Yeah.
The art's cool.
Yeah, the art's pretty sweet.
And a foil Trigon Predator right now from Dissension is like $1 million. So like, you know, I'm hoping
so many Magic cards that cost $1 million. I didn't even know this.
It's so weird. It's just a bunch of $1 million cards hanging out. It's good though. It's not great. It's going to be in the green-blue deck, just to be clear. Don't pick it highly, but you'll want it in your decks because it's an invasion beater guy. It's fine. Worm Harvest got the downgrade.
Yep. For
the retrace, for the dredge deck. It's cool. It's a cool card. It was always a cool card.
Yeah, it's fun because it keeps growing. Like, there's just more worms and more worms. And
right.
I do like the card. I don't think, like, after we've seen all these cards, I don't really think the dredge deck is all that good.
I wanted it to be, but as you sort of keep looking, it's just not all the way there for me. And Worm Harvest was a card that probably should have just cost, like, 4 mana.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be surprised how terrible this card is. I mean,
you would be, because like even to this day, I'm like, I can make it work.
Yeah, you know, you're just like, I can do this. I can make a token for 5 mana, and I can make 2 tokens for 5 mana and discard a land. I can make 3 tokens for 5 mana.
No, I'm more like I can make 0 tokens for 5 mana.
Yeah.
Then I can make 1 for the next 5 mana.
Woo! It's bad.
It's really
I'm
bad.
sorry, and you want it to work so hard, and someone's going to be playing the Moss Dog. Life from the Loam, whatever, and they're going to get like 6 tokens per activation, and they're going to feel like all-stars, and I am happy for those people.
Yeah.
I'm never one of those people. I'm always the guy with Worm Harvest in my opening hand, and just feel like an idiot. And I'm just like, why is this card in my deck? I'm just dumb. Do not like it. Aether Spellbomb. We're in the artifacts,
baby. And it's one of the sweetest ones, and I'm going to say it again, Auroch Salvagers and Aether Spellbomb is going to be like the most insane thing ever.
Like the best bros ever.
Yeah, like
the BFEF.
You can't beat them because, how do you beat them? Because every time you tap out to play a creature, they can just bounce it and get the Aether Spellbomb back, and if you ever try to kill it, they just bounce the Salvagers. You can't beat it.
You can't stop this. It's cute. Don't kill my Salvagers with this on the stack. Okay, thanks. Yeah, it's cute, but like seriously, this is a good card. It's super useful. It's super awesome to play on turn 1 for the same reason Dispeller's Capsule, for the same reason Executioner's Capsule. Like, this card just existing makes you play the game differently.
Yep.
And that's why I like this card so much. And the fact that it has like that cool Auroch Salvagers, you know, sort of piece is great. And that's sort of me for like the cube part of it. that you can really make those chains work. But at the end of the day, it's just a fantastic card.
Yep, for sure.
Not super high pick. Now, Aether Vial,
I'm very curious
how highly do you pick this card?
I don't think it's like a high pick at all. But like the thing that I don't even know if I ever want to play with an Aether Vial Unlimited. But I'm curious why it became a rare when it's not played in Modern. Like, why did they upgrade it?
It was played in Modern there during the Players' Championship. Is that correct?
The one deck, yeah.
The one deck, yeah. That did kind of run the tournament. But in the one deck, by the obvious Japanese superstar pro, yes, sure. I think it was Mahara. Is that right?
No. Makita Mahara?
Yeah.
No. Misho?
Oh, okay.
I don't even know. I'm like really bad.
It could have been, but regardless, it was played by a Japanese pro that had 4 Aether Vials in it, whatever. I think this is just kind of recognizing that Aether Vial should have been a rare. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in Dark Steel, they just screwed up. Like, people did not respect Aether Vial when it first came out. It feels a lot like the Cloud Goat Ranger story, you know?
Yeah.
They didn't respect it because it wasn't called attention to because it wasn't rare. So it was just an uncommon, when in fact, Wizards had literally bypassed the entire mana system of Magic the Gathering. Like, BT dubs, your mana doesn't matter anymore. It's just about the converted cost in the top right of the card.
The first time you just went Vial into Goblins, you were just like, oh my god.
Yeah, and the first time you went like Vial into Disciple of the Vault, and then Vial out like Arcbound Ravager, and then play your Frogmine, and play your other Frogmine, and then play your Mirror Enforcer, and like your opponent's over there just like trying to cut all the risks as soon as possible because it's dumb. Like, this card is pushed in ways that few cards have ever been pushed. And this card is a mistake that just got through R&D in ways that it never should have. And I think that kind of helps you recognize that. Ultimately, it's not great and limited because if you draw it super late, it's bad.
Or even if you draw it real early, like that's just not how you don't have this like converted mana cost like curve all the time. Like, it's more clunky and you're developing, and you don't have these lords that you're really trying to get to play. Or you don't have these like goblins that draw more goblins. So like
you don't have like the chains. You don't have these sequences that you have in constructed in Legacy constructed for in particular for Merfolk or for goblins. Like decks that really use the Aether Vial. Again, this to me is partly like it's letting people respect what it is, and it's letting them have just another money card essentially. Because this is the this is the From the Vault art, I believe.
Yeah. So. I mean, I think like one of the best things you can do in Modern Masters Limited with this card is just like get it to 4 and chain Sanctum Gargoyles for free. For 4 mana, you just get to activate it. Like, that's the coolest thing you can do with it. It's not that good.
No, sorry. It's not great. Arcbound Ravager, however, wow.
Like, sweet new art.
Wow, that card is absolutely unreal. And the art is sweet. The art's way better than the original. This card's already worth what the original is worth, and it will be more so because it looks way better than the original.
Oh,
I think
for
it
sure,
looks absolutely super sweet. This is the version you want to play if you're going to play that deck. Like, it looks great. Foils are going to look absolutely amazing. Can you imagine it be all
with
like,
all the white
lit up? Yeah, I mean, it's going to look sweet. So pick these for value.
Pick them for the artifact deck. It's sweet.
We're going to pick it for the artifact deck because it's sweet. But ultimately, Ravager is there because it's a constructed all-star, not because it's a limited all-star.
I agree.
So you pick it highly because you're picking for value, essentially. Like, you know, it's like a $25 card. And God knows what the foil's worth. But, you know, the idea of, like, you know, I want to pick this so I can run an artifact deck, it's not going to be the best thing you're going to be doing.
I agree with that.
Arcbound Stinger, however, that's a man.
Yeah, he's way better than Arcbound Ravager.
He's good, though.
He's fine.
He's fine. He was a good man in Mirrodin. Yeah. He will remain so here.
I just want to know how he's keeping that ball up.
I just want to know how all the bee parts know how to, like, hover around the right area of the bee. Like, I go near the bee butt. Why? Because I got, like, a bee butt sensor, and I, like, hang around the bee butt and, like, the bee tail, like, bee tail. You know, does someone, like, hit them, and then it just, like, they just come back together.
So he just never dies?
Exactly. Because he's modular. He just pieces them, and pieces them just fall on other people. Yeah, either way. Stinger's a good man. Because, he's a 2-mana 1/1 flyer that can, you know, have a Bone Splitter that we'll get to in a second. You know, it can wear equipment. It can go in any deck, you know, but ultimately you want it to be in the type of artifact deck that we talked about. The Esperzoa, you know, deck, as it were.
And he's a quick card for that.
Right. Now, you know, Arcbound Wanderer is sort of on the weird opposite side. It's not necessarily for the artifact deck anymore. It's for the domain deck.
Yeah.
You know, the domain green deck that's running all the Search for Tomorrows, that's running all the Kodama's Reaches.
The Tribal Flames.
Absolutely. Like, this is the card that you want in that deck. This is the card you're going to get super late because no one wants this card except that deck.
I don't even know if that deck wants this card, to be honest.
I think it would.
I mean, at best, it's a bad Baloth.
At best, yeah. At best, it's probably a 6-mana 4/4.
Yeah, but it's worse than the Baloths. You know, like
sure.
This card is here to just show again why Sunburst was just a bad mechanic.
I wish this would have been the Manta, you know, the Skyreach Manta, like, which was really sweet because it had evasion, you know, and that was a thing, and it was 5 mana, and it had Sunburst modular and all that stuff, and that to me was way cooler. It might have just been like literally too powerful, maybe.
I don't think so.
That Skyreach, I mean, the Skyreach guy was pretty sweet back in the day. He was very powerful. If you got 3 counters on him, it's a 5-mana 3/3 flyer.
It was fine,
but that to me, I mean, they've already got 5-mana 3/3 flyers and the Dust Wasps, all right? Like, okay, not a great card. Don't pick it highly.
It's one of the last ones. Yeah.
You're going to see it passed out a lot.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Arcbound Worker, like they've given you the tools.
I've loved this one for a long time. And this is a 1-drop. Just keep going. I just want my rare salvagers one time.
You need that salvagers to happen so hard.
One time. But yeah, Arcbound Worker is like a great 1-drop. It like works with that curve, but I don't think it's as good as the Stinger in this limited format unless you have a salvagers, because like just having the flyer is more important. But if you ever have a Ravager, all this stuff works really well together.
Yeah, I mean, all the pieces go together, which is cool. Yeah, I don't know how good it is versus all the other things we've seen.
Not really.
Know? All the other strategies we've talked about, it feels like this one is just the worst. But what happens is, just like in the self-correcting things we've talked about before, when it's the worst, then no one picks it. You get all the workers, you get all the stingers, you'll get that Ravager randomly, yada, 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 and then you'll just run them over. Because you have that. And we're getting to more, excellent cards like Bone Splitter.
One of the best equipment of all time.
Yeah, they will not reprint a card this good again. This was back when they didn't know how good equipment was.
No, and this was one of the best equipment. Like, it's just super cheap and efficient. Like, just think of it like, think about Standard now. And, like, players are just playing, like, turn 1 experiment ones. But, like, you could also just go, like, turn 1, like, 2/2 for 1. And those existed back then. And then you just Bone Splitter's attack for 4. Like, it was not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I did play White Weenie back in the day, and I would play Savannah Lines, Bone Splitter attack for 4. I would play Leon and Sky Knight, you know, that's a quick Bone Splitter attack for 4 in the air. Like, that was a thing. I mean, look at, like, Trusty Machete, right? And that was in World Wake, I believe.
And it was 1/2.
It was 1 mana, and then it gave +1/+2, and you had to pay 2 to equip it, you know? Like, that's a thing. I mean, even now there's a Civic Saber, 1 mana, for +1/+0 for each color it is, and you have to pay 2 to equip
it. And we just trust in who just won the last Pro Tour?
Craig Wesco.
Yeah, Craig Wesco. Like, whatever equipment he plays was good enough.
Yeah, I like, you know, one of his interview, winter interview things, he's like, I just can't get away from a Trusty Machete.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, I mean, and you just can't get away from a Bone Splitter, essentially. Like, the aggro decks want this, the Skies decks want this, like, this is a very, very good equipment.
Yeah, it's going to be very, like, it's going to pick quick. So, like, don't see it, like, third and be like, artifacts are open. Because every deck wants this card.
Yeah, every deck can run it. Every deck can sort of use it. I mean, whether it's the Thalid deck or the Giants just getting bigger or the Fairies having evasion or whatever. The only deck that I can't
Bone Splitter's on a Fairy deck?
Yeah, it's gross. The only deck that doesn't really want is the Storm deck.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the deck that passes this with no problem. Now, Chalice of the Void, that's a card.
No, this is a card that I actually, like, I want to start playing Chalice decks in Legacy. Like, I think that's for me. So when I saw that this was in the set, I'm like, yay, because, like, Star City sold out, and I don't have a set, and I'm just waiting to get a set of this, so then I can just start playing Chalice of the Void Legacy decks, because I'm done trying to interact with people. I'm just like, you can't brainstorm me, because I'm worse than you at brainstorm, so therefore none of us can have it.
Turn 1 City of Traders, Chalice of the Void on 1. If they don't want the Force, the Rug deck is dead.
Yeah.
Basically immediately. You know, this is sort of where you run like the Stacks decks, all that type of stuff. You know, and people do run Chalice of the Void for 1 in Modern. Like, that's a thing where they just try to shut down your Grim Lavamancers and your Path to Exiles and all that stuff. And it could be a legitimate choice for your deck, you know, if you're playing against a super aggro deck and, you know, you're not super aggro and you're like, I literally have no 1-drops, but this guy has like 2 Bone Splitters and blah, 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 1-drop. Like, I just don't want him to resolve, and so you just play Chalices. You know, this is an extremely powerful card from Mirrodin, and I'm glad they reprinted it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this card got me to the Pro Tour, actually, so, like, I just want to go back to it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. So, ultimately, it's not a card you're going to be picking highly. You're going to pick this card for value.
Yeah.
You know, like we've talked about others like Ravager, for example. It's just...
Is that just the gentleman's agreement in the format? Everyone just takes the rare mythic and then the draft begins?
Not really, because we've seen some not great rares slash mythics. Again, like if you open Jugan, you know, you can go green.
Yeah.
But no one's going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe you passed me a Jugan. Like, all right, you got me. Or Progeny Toss, same answer. Engineered explosives.
A weird. I don't like the art.
I love the art.
What, you love it?
Yes, this card's worth $1 million.
This card's worth $1 million?
While we're talking about $1 million Magic cards, this art is better than the original, and it's in a set that has less of them out on the planet, and I want to get my foil before it's $1 million.
But like, it doesn't have the color scheme of the sunburst. Like,
but it looks so cool exploding.
I mean, the explosion's cool, but like the sunburst, that's why I like the other engineer explosives, because it was a color explosion.
Yeah, I like people getting exploded and things dying, and I think this is a really cool way to show things dying. It's a cool like pop. It's like that's like sort of the shock wave, that kind of bubble. What? I mean, in Magic, you weirdo. Like, you know, seeing the shockwave come out, seeing the flames go out, seeing the things pop, like this card is incredibly powerful. This card is really good. You're going to pick it both for value and because it's going to do good things on the battlefield. Like normally, you're going to X for 2, and you're going to get rid of all their 2-drops or whatever, or you're going to get rid of some stupid permanent that you can't deal with. If you're the domain deck, this just gets better, but you don't need to be domain. Yeah. Like, you're going to get a lot more value there, but it doesn't matter. A, you're going to get value because this card's going to be worth a lot of money. B, you're going to get value because it is actually good in play. And C, if you're domain, it gets even better. Yeah. Like this to me, oh, so good.
All right. Well,
so good. You can like the original. It's
I'm going to. Yeah, I love the original.
Well, it's going to be cheaper, I'll tell you that. Now, Apocryphite got downgraded.
I like it now. Like, a lot of people are excited because it's going to go into a lot of common and uncommon cubes, and
it's a cool card.
No, I love it.
It was in my cube for a long time. You know, there's became a point where it's like, it's cute. It's like it's really cute, but it stopped being like super powerful because the times at which it were suspended, like the game would end while it was suspended, and then you wouldn't be able to get your 2-mana, you know, 4/4 or whatever out of it. But like in these types of games, you are going to be able to do that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And you know, you are going to be able to play it on turn 2 with no fear, and you know, yada yada. So he's a good man. It's a fine card. It's not anything I pick super highly, but I pick, you know, after bombs and removal, Apocryphite can go in basically any deck.
Apocryphite was really good too, yeah.
I mean, it can go in any deck.
It's a very good card. I think like this is going to be a higher pick because it is colors. I could see you first picking it just because it's colors and keeps you open, and you can, you know, just then slide into the artifact deck.
You and that artifact deck. I'd rather have a piece of removal if I'm going to first pick something.
You don't need removal when
not
you
a 2-mana 1/1 that like might be a 4/4 at some point if they kill it. You know, there were times back in the day, you know, in time. What was this? It was Time Spiral, or was this?
Yeah, it was Time Spiral.
Yeah. Particularly in block, where, you know, you kind of play around not letting the Apocryphite die. You're like, you know, you're just going to run it, and they're like, okay, I'll take 1, you know. And you're like, dang, they didn't block. That sucks, which is unfortunate. But, you know, ultimately, it's a fine card. It's not, I mean, now that it's uncommon, you're actually going to see more of it.
Yeah, for sure.
You might see 2 or 3 per draft.
You might, like, have Apocryphites on Apocryphites coming in and, like,
it's like stacks on stacks, except it's kind of
weirder. Yeah.
It's weirder with bugs that glow. Etched Oracle. Talk about a domain card
too. Did it get a downgrade or was it uncommon? Okay, I thought it was rare.
Yeah, it was fine. But yeah, you're talking about, wow, a card that domain wants every time.
This is really impressive. Like, just being able to have a 4/4 for 4, and then you can just remove all the counters and just draw a bunch of cards. It's just awesome.
And sometimes you're going to be, I like the fact that it's a wizard now. I think that's cool.
Oh, cool.
It was not a wizard to start with, at least in its first print and 5th Dawn. However, you know, sometimes you literally are going to play this as a 3/3, a 4-mana 3/3, because you kind of have to, for whatever reason. And sometimes that's totally correct. You know, you don't always have to get value out of everything. And I know that's hard to say just as Magic players. You know, like, that's what we do. That's what our culture is about, squeezing every drop of value out of everything. But, like, sometimes you just need to play, you know, a Hill Giant and just start attacking with a 3/3.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So don't let yourself, you know, oh, man, I've got a mountain and an island and a forest, and I just need to wait on that search for tomorrow. I just need that Kodama's Reach, and then I can play this thing. Like, if your opponent is nothing and they're like 9, play the friggin' historical.
And just start attacking.
Yes. Sometimes you don't need to do that. You really don't, you know. But ultimately, it's not a super high pick.
No.
It's basically only for that one deck. It's not a deck that you run in 2-color decks, or not a card that you run in 2-color decks.
Not at all. No, that's just a 2/2 for 4.
Right. You kind of have to be there. So if you are the domain deck, it's actually cool to sort of, you can not bank, but you can pretty well bank on this wheeling. This is going to come back around. Like, you're going to be able to see it again. Otherwise, not great.
Frogmite's back.
Whee! They are trying to give you the affinity deck.
Yeah,
I believe Mirror Force is in here as well.
I mean, it is, but there's no like cranial plate, and that was like the big one, right? Like,
there's no artifact lands.
Yeah, well, you didn't even need that. You needed the cranial plating, though. Like, there's no real reason to put a 2/2.
Dude, the artifact lands were super important back in the day.
They were important back in the day, but it was mostly because they made the cranial platings good. Like, if we have all these like weak value cards like Frogmite, we definitely need the cranial platings. So the things that made them good.
I agree, but at the same time, like back in the day, Frogmite was still a good card because you could play, you know, artifact land, some artifact like a worker, artifact land worker, and then next turn you play an artifact land, tap 1 mana Frogmite. Like that was a thing, that was important. So, I mean, you know, I'm just saying that like it's a fine card. It's not a great card. It needed artifact lands, I think, to push it to the next level, and all of the artifact deck because it just doesn't have it. The Shrapnel Blast we looked at earlier. We've seen plenty of cool things like the Worker and the Stinger that you'd want to sacrifice to Shrapnel Blast, but there was never that sort of coalescing of, you know, back in the day you would take artifact lands super high over really good cards because they are the engine that made this work. They made everything cheaper. They allowed you to force out your Mirror Enforcers. Lotus Bloom, it's a storm card.
deck, and it's so good.
I'm glad it's out there for the Storm deck.
Yeah.
This is where you start playing your Ephemerons and your Duskwood Baloths or whatever it was, you know, to sort of all come in at the same time and to be able to eat it with a Rift Elemental so it comes in right when you want it and blah, blah, blah. Like, the Storm deck is there. It exists. They gave you plenty of tools. It's a really sweet card, worth money. You're not going to be sad with it.
No.
I don't think you really take it anywhere beyond that.
Yeah, you need it for the Storm deck. Other decks, you don't really want it. Like, it comes into play on turn 3, you can maybe make a 6/6, but, like, ritualing into a 6/6 is never that good in Limited.
Right. Like, okay, so you waited 3 turns to cast Desperate Ritual, quote unquote. However you need to sort of wrap your mind around it, if you can't take advantage of the fact that you are unsuspending, that you're adding a spell to the Storm count for the turn, that type of thing, it's just not there.
Yep.
Mirror Enforcer, there it is, baby.
With new art. Or
the FNM art.
That's the FNM art. Yeah,
I believe
I saw it before. But.
Yep. I think it's really super sweet. Again, they want the artifact deck to be a thing.
Yeah.
Even as much as we've seen, it might be. It's one of those because no one wants to play it. Some guy gets all the Frogmites. Some guy gets all the Mirror Enforcers. Like, they are common, you know?
And you can invest mana into a Mirror Enforcer because it is a big guy. Like, 4/4 is huge. The 2/2s are kind of tiny. But like a 4/4 is a very big guy. Yep.
Yeah, 3 mana for a 4/4, like that's above the curve. Like, you're doing well there.
Yep.
And you're playing 4 mana for a 4/4. Okay, you got me. Like, all right, sure. Like, I'm all right with that. It's really fine in that regard. It's still a huge guy. He's still respectable, even all the way from Mirrodin. I think that's cool. It's just one of those guys you kind of need to be in the deck.
Yep.
Like, you don't pick it highly because are you playing the artifact deck? No. Okay. Look at the other cards in the pack. Like, that's what Mirror Enforcer sort of tells you. Now, Mirror Retriever is super cute because, you know, you can begin to create loops and whatever. Like, you can create loops with retrievers on retrievers.
Sanctum Gargoyles.
You can say with your gargoyles, which is sweet. You know, like, there's a lot of ways to loop this card. This is actually one of the sweetest in the artifact deck.
Yeah. If
you're that guy, you'll get this card super late, and then you'll get probably another copy super late, and then 2 Mirror Retrievers is exactly what you want in that deck.
What was Mirror Retriever again? Oh, that's him. Sorry.
The one,
I thought you were talking about him and Sanctum Gargoyle.
No. The Sanctum Gargoyle, we could talk about that all day. That card's so good. But this lets you just sort of run the loop. It lets you run the chain, lets you get back all of your value, so on and so forth. I love Mirror Retrievers. They're super sweet. Yep. Paradise Mantle.
I used to love playing this card in like the early Affinity decks when we didn't really know actually what the list was supposed to, like what good list was there.
Paradise Mantles were in those decks for a while. Back in the day. It does help fix you though, which is nice. And it helps sort of accelerate you in ways that white doesn't have, blue doesn't have. You know?
Yeah, I don't really know if it's going to like really hit those decks. I think maybe
it really doesn't though. It's just artifact decks and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not going to pick it highly. It's going to come around pretty late anyway. And if people pick it highly, I think they're just making a mistake.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, you don't really want this card. Like in limited, you need your cards to have a higher impact. Like you're not really combo killing them in like 2 or 3 turns. So.
Right. Now, I mean, I agree. You know, it's really sweet to go like turn 1 Worker into Mantle, turn 2 into Frogmite, and a turn 3 Enforcer, and yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
You can live all those dreams. It's just that, you know, this card doesn't actually do anything.
No.
There's a reason it's 0, you know, in casting cost. Spell Bomb, heyo.
Yeah, they printed the 2 best spell bombs, and
as they should.
And Pirate's amazing, especially with just being able to combo with some of your cards that return artifacts and.
Yep, I love that. I love how they kept the same art too.
Yeah,
like I think that's super sweet art. Just like the fire's trying to escape, and you're just going to be caught in it, buddy. You can't help yourself. And of course, Ariok Salvagers.
Yeah.
Has to be a thing. But if you're in red, like this is a good card.
Oh, it's just straight up good card. Like it just kills something. It can cantrip. Like all these spell bombs are great. Like even if your deck is like missing a card and you don't want to play an extra land, you can just run a 2-mana cycle, and that's what these spell bombs do. Like they were never bad.
Yeah, back in the day, I mean, you would run the green spell bomb or the black spell bomb when you had no green, no black, because it's literally just 1 mana draw a card.
Yep.
1 mana play, 1 mana draw a card. You would do that because sometimes
you just played a 39 card deck. Yeah.
Right, because sometimes you just had nothing for your 23rd card, and that was it. So if you're in red, it's good. You don't pick it super early, but it is still removal.
Yep.
So always keep that in mind. Like I would pick Glacial Ray over this, but if I'm in red and I don't have any burn or I don't have any like super awesome creature in the pack, this is definitely the spell for me.
Yep.
Relic though, good old Relic of Progenitus.
And that's another card for your 23rd if you just want something. You can get a little bit of value against some of the other decks.
You can. I'm trying to think. Like I guess you kind of sort of hose the Eternal Witness stuff, sorta.
I mean, you hit Eternal Witness, you can hit dredge cards, you can hit the artifact creatures.
Yep. I mean, you know, there's some things that you can do to kind of disrupt things. Ultimately, just sort of like a cool card.
Yep.
Cool card in Modern. Does what you want it to do. Like, is value on value. Like, you know, you tap to remove things. You 1 mana to exile everything. But again, for me, it's like your 23rd.
Yep.
You're playing 39 cards in your 40-card deck because you just cycle through it with random incremental value. Like, you're randomly going to exile something they really wanted to get back with me, Retriever or Eternal Witness or whatever.
Or it could just be a retrace spell.
Yep. That they just can't get back anymore. But you don't pick it early by any means. You're not going to enjoy it. Now, Rune Stalactite. Okay.
The Changeling.
The Changeling equipment.
Yep.
I dig that.
I mean, it's fine. There's some cards that go really well with it. So.
Yeah, I mean, like things like the Tar Pit Goblin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like be able to turn a thing into a goblin like a Thallid.
Blind Spot Giant. And
right. There was the Blind Spot Giant helps out with as well. You know, this thing is now a goblin and a giant. Like now this guy can attack, and then I'm going to throw him at your face. You know, like that's awesome to me, and that actually works completely well. So there's a lot of tribal interactions. The Prowl stuff that we saw a few cards of that. You know, that are really going to take advantage of this. And plus, at the end of the day, like it's still a creature pump. Like it's not super terrible. It's no Bone Splitter, but it's not embarrassing.
It works,
and I do think you're going to find sort of this random incremental value of like, oh, it works with Mad Auntie, and like, oh, it works with.
You're going to think
whatever.
it's a lot worse, and then you're going to like lay out your deck and be like, yeah, we're going to have to play with this. Like, we got to put this in the deck.
You don't pick it early by any stretch, but it's a fine man. Hey, they did print Skyreach Mana. There we go. All right.
This is a little bit better than the other because it does have flying, and both of them can only be 5/5s anyway, so the extra mana kind of...
Now, the Arcbound Wanderer, you're going to basically pass out all the time.
Yep.
This, you are not, because anyone who's playing just 3 colors wants this card.
Yep.
Like, this used to be a super, super high pick in Mirrodin Draft, but, of course, that was also back in the day when you drafted Mirrodin first and then Darksteel and then Fifth Dawn. There was also a lot of mana fixing involved, the Pentad Prisms and so on and so forth, that you don't really have here. So this is really for the domain deck, so you're actually going to see it later than you did back in the day. Like back in the day, if I saw this 4th pick, I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like there must have been something insane in those first 3 picks. Because this was a first pickable card back in the day. For God's sakes, they made it a fish. It's an artifact fish.
That's flying.
That flies. Well, it's a manta.
All
so
right.
they're getting it right. So, yay. I love this card. This card is sweet. It brings back all sorts of good memories. Will be super sweet in the domain deck.
Yep.
Is not really made for anything else. Even the artifact deck, I mean, Do you define artifact deck as like makes a bunch of different mana with like Paradise Mantles and stuff?
Well, I mean, it depends because like you could just be Esper or you could be like blue, white, red.
Right.
Like those just happen because blue and white are pretty much locked in as the best cards, and then there's artifacts in the other colors. So I mean, it still could be a 3/3 for 5.
Yep. And again, like this is the card that for me would make me like think about playing Paradise Mantle because I'm like, man, this card. If you got 2 or 3 of this card, like then you're like, man, I just want all the colors all the time. Sophie, hello.
And Sophie is so beautiful.
Now that's sword, sword O, F, and I, Sophie, just so we're clear. The reason we call her Sophie, and Sophie is beautiful. It's
amazing.
Brand new art, which looks fantastic. I mean, it's the best sword ever made.
It's better than Feast and Famine? I don't think it's better than Feast and Famine. I think Feast and Famine had a higher impact, but that was because of Stoneforge Mystic. But like,
it's so hard to say.
Yeah, I mean,
it's protection from the right colors. It's drawing cards and killing creatures. Like, man, but the Feast and Famine, which is totally awesome, by the way, because Wizards gave it to me as my preview, which is fantastic. And then like everyone was just like, brr, 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 like they gave Evan like whatever crappy preview, and then they're like, no, this card's kind of broken.
It's one of the best cards in Standard.
Yep, just kind of defined Pro Tour Paris and so on and so forth. Anyway, Sophie. This is a Windmill Slam. This is a super mega bomb.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to high-five all your buddies. It's unbelievable. It goes in literally every deck you play in this format. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's Storm you're playing it in.
Equipment that gives protection from 2 colors is absurd. There's only 3 other colors. So, like, if your opponent has one of them, they're in a lot of trouble.
Yes.
And so, like, it's a good equipment. Even if they don't have any of the colors, it gives +2/+2 to any creature. And it has these huge abilities, and it's worth a lot of money. Like, you just never pass this card.
It's just the trifecta of awesome. Do not ever pass it. It goes on anything unique. It is super, super sweet. There's a whole cycle of these. They completed the cycle with Scars of Mirrodin, which I appreciate. These cards just they're just so defining. They're so iconic, and they did a great job with this. So that leads to Sword of Light and Shadow,
which looks like Feast and Famine in my mind.
It really does.
Yeah,
it's a weird feasty, famine-y looking thing. But regardless, it's kind of the lowest powered sword. However, it's got protection from the right colors. It does let you gain life and get back guys. Like, it's not bad,
Well, it's actually one of my favorite limited swords. Like, if whatever I've seen in like limited formats, this is my favorite. Like,
well, I see it. Like I play cubes, so like I get really jaded, I guess, or spoiled, as it were, by being able to play all the other swords, which are literally all better than this one.
Sure.
And then I go like, well, if I got to cut a sword out of my cube, it's got to be Light and Shadow. But I love Light and Shadow. It's super powerful. Like, this is a Windmill Slam because it goes in every deck. It's still awesome. You're still going to gain life and get all your creatures back. Like, it's not bad, and it goes in everything. So it's the only one where I wouldn't like slam it into like the Storm deck. Like Sword of Fire and Ice, you can slam in the Storm deck, because who cares? But even Sophie, I mean, I want to buy back my Tunnel Ignis, and I want to buy back my Mog War Marshals, and and like whatever it is that's sort of keeping me alive. This is a sword that keeps you alive.
And that's very true.
And it's super, super good.
It's just fun playing with a sword. Like, it just really is.
I like playing with overpowered things like Vidalcan Shackles.
I mean, upgrading this to a mythic, that makes a lot of sense in my mind.
Well, in Limited, they had to. It's stupidly, stupidly good in Limited.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Crazy good.
It's one of my favorite cards. I've won more like tournaments with this, like back in the day. Like, it got me on the Pro Tour. Like, this is the card that got me there. I was playing Tezzerator, and the only way to win is I had 2 Vidalcan Shackles that were grabbing 2 Goyfs during his upkeep, and then I would attack with the Goyfs and then untap them with Tezzeret. Like, I just remember this card just being unbelievable, and the art is amazing now.
I love the art. Like, Svetlin is a master. It looks great. I would love to have a foil copy of this for my cube. I think it's super sweet. In Limited, like, this is a bomb. They legitimate, crazy. If you're playing, like, if you're opening it in pack 3 and you're like in red-green, you're just going to be like, oh my god, I feel terrible because I can't play it. Because if you're anywhere near blue, yeah, I mean, like, you kind of just have to hate it at that point, because you can't beat it. Like, unless you have a lot of artifact destruction just hanging out, ready to do things, like a bunch of Fury Charms. It's like, you need ways, and a bunch of Croson Grips Like, you know, you need ways to answer Shackles because Shackles will answer you.
Yeah, Shackles will answer you.
That's right. In Soviet Russia, Shackles controls you. Like, card is unreal. Super, super sweet. We're on to the lands.
We're getting close to the end.
We are, but first we talk about Academy Ruins, one of the best lands ever printed. Super awesome. Mindslaver locks, say hello.
That was a fun time in Magic. I haven't done it in a long time, but I loved locking people.
Yep, like that. This was the reason like the Mindslaver lock existed, is because this land existed. You know, you use Mindslaver, you tap Academy Ruins, you put it back on top, you use Mindslaver, you know, blah, 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 blah.
You do it literally deck.
Yeah, you can literally deck them, or you can figure out some way to kill them and some way to do whatever. But, you know, like Academy Ruins is sort of the card that all made that happen. It's super awesome in Gifts Ungiven piles, which are, of course, you know, in this set as well. So you can, like, if you really want to do the crazy, like, artifact, Gifts Ungiven, like,
you have to
Academy
open a
Ruins,
lot of rares to get
you got to open, well, you know, you got to get, like, Eternal Witness, and you got to have all the mana to work with. Like, if you really wanted to do, like, the super sweet, like, uber, like, clever deck, like, that's a really sweet one.
There,
You got to open a lot of rares. You got to be really lucky, blah, blah, blah. But I love the fact that this exists. It is super powerful in Modern itself as a format. And it allows you to get a lot of value. Like, if I'm playing blue in any fashion and I've got, you know, a sword or I've got, I don't know, practically anything, it's a fine card to throw in there if you have artifacts.
I mean, you have the artifact deck. I think it's super powerful, too. If just one of them just dies, like, you need it back.
Yeah, absolutely. And my basically, the mana seems really good in Modern Masters in general. And if you're anywhere near artifacts or super powered artifacts like a Sword of Fire and Ice, and you have Academy Ruins, you're going to run it, just so you can have that value. Otherwise, you don't pick it early. It's not a bomb. It's not anything you're really excited about unless you can really abuse it. And even like the decks that abuse it, which I guess are the artifact decks,
don't really do that well.
You'd rather have a Mirror Enforcer than this.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, you just would. You'd rather have something that kills somebody than a land that might give you value if your thing dies. Not as good. Blinkmoth Nexus, amazing
new art. Yeah, I really love the new art.
Wow.
It's so cool.
It's super sweet. Now, I mean, I am endeared to the old art. You know what I mean? Like, I came back into Magic. That was the thing. It was sweet. It was a really powerful card in Magic at the time. I mean, because of everything, Ravagery, whatever. But, I mean, I just think this art is beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It doesn't even, like, look like a Blinkmoth Nexus, but I'm okay with that. Like,
whatever.
I'm cool.
Super sweet art. I mean, this goes in basically any deck that you would play. I mean, I guess Storm doesn't want it because it's Storm.
Wants it. Yeah, but it can still
blocks.
Block.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it blocks. Like, a lot of what Storm wants to do is not die.
Yeah, for sure. Like, live another turn and just build a critical mass of spells, and sometimes you don't need all your lands. So
exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, and otherwise, if you want to attack, a Skies deck wants this, a green-red aggro deck wants this, like, even the Giant deck wants this, the Fairies deck wants the Evasive Beater. Like, when you start to go, well, every deck kind of wants it, and it's worth money, and, like, you kind of just want to, thank you. Like, it's just, it's good. Now, for what it's worth, other deck, like the Thundercloud Shaman, for example, like, I would take that over this.
Oh, for sure.
You know, because it's more powerful in my Giant deck or whatever.
Yeah, I don't actually think this card is, like
it's
just
not,
you force it in every deck because it's not great. Like, it's better in the modular decks because you want it to keep getting counters and get better.
Right. It's good. It's not good. So it's no Elspeth. It's no Glacial Ray. You know, I would take
nothing's a Glacial Ray.
By God, I love me a Glacial Ray. But yeah, Blinkmoth Nexus is a good man that if he's there and there's nothing else super awesome, he will make your deck and he will attack for one. City of Brass, ping.
It comes back. I forgot it was actually in the format.
I totally forgot exactly that it was there. Whenever it becomes tapped, it deals 1 damage to you. So, like, I don't think there's an actual way to tap it in the format that we've actually read through. There might be, and I just forgot it. But regardless, it's some amazing art.
Yeah.
Like Young.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, Young Park did like an absolutely incredible job.
It's right here too, right? Like,
right.
I think so. It's been here this whole time. Like, yeah.
Oh, like, there's a reason we put it behind us for this entire review, is because it's gorgeous. And here it is. Like, you know, it's beautiful. I would love to have one of these. Like, if I can't get an Arabian, I think this is your next best
for sure
version of City of Brass. in the meantime, like, you know, where does it go sort of in limited at this point? Like,
I mean, it's
when
good in the I think it's fine in the domain deck. Like, yes, it doesn't trigger them, but it still hits your colors.
Right.
And it helps you with the modulars that you might not have. So I think you'll still want it, even though it's not helping those spells out.
The Sunburst, you mean?
Or the Sunburst.
Yeah, it'll really help with Sunburst.
Yeah, the domain, yeah.
Yep, the domain Sunburst type deck, that's cool. I can see that working there. You know, and obviously if you're playing like some 3-color thing or whatever, City of Brass is going to help you there. Yeah, just value, like you're splashing the Kega, you're splashing the Moloku. You want City of Brass to be in there. Now, Dakmor Salvage
is actually a black card.
I was thinking there's a reason like our black review is like maybe 3 or 4 minutes like less than the other reviews, and it's because Dakmor wasn't in there.
Yep.
Now, they wanted Dredge to be a thing, and I commend them for that, and that's cool. Dakmor Salvage is a way to dredge things.
It's fine. It's just terrible. It was bad then. It's bad now. Like, it comes into play tapped, and it doesn't really do anything in Dredge 2. We were talking about how Dredge 2 will never mill you, and you only use this to mill you. So, like...
Dredge 2 might as well be Dredge 0.
You'll never deck to that.
Yeah. Like, wait a minute. I do remember saying that, and it's kind of true. And I can't just say it's not true because I like a card, because I don't really like this one that much.
Yeah. I've never liked it. It wasn't ever that great.
It just feels like you're gonna pass out, like, all the time.
Yep.
This card is going to go late. Super late all the time. Glimmer Void, however, here's your artifact deck mana.
Yep, this is great. I mean, I don't know. It's fine to play in limited, but I don't really know if my artifact decks are going to be that many crazy colors.
I honestly wouldn't. Like, there was, back in the day, even in Mirrored and Limited, like, you could get blown out.
Yeah.
Like, they would just destroy your other artifact land or whatever, because back then, you'd play an artifact land, you'd play Glimmer Void, you're like, oh, I'm in good shape. And they'd be like, destroy that, double Stone Rain you. And
especially like, in this format, like, sometimes all your artifacts are going to just be dudes, and they can just kill them.
And then they can just wipe the board or do something stupid and destroy this, destroy that, Cross and Grip this, and then all of a sudden you lose a land. This is the type of card that sets you up for daggering.
Yeah.
Like, you can just get daggered and you're just done. And you're like, I am such an idiot. I can't believe I did X when they obviously had Y, and ugh. So that's what Glimmer Void, this is a lot of, I think, just sort of for Modern. You know,
oh, for sure.
Modern loves this card. Affinity plays this card. The artifact deck in Limited probably should.
Yeah, I think the reason that Glimmer Void, Arcman Ranger, and Inkmoth Nexus are all in the format is just, or Blinkmoth, is just for the robots deck in Modern. To, like, just get enough of those cards out there for people to play, because I think it's going to be it's becoming a more popular deck.
Now, for what it's worth, just to give the other half of it, Sunburst cards want this card a lot.
As long as they have enough artifacts in the deck to exist. And that's the scary part. Like, I would much rather just draft another Search for Tomorrow or another, like, Kodama's Reach than a Glimmer Void.
Yeah, at the same time, if you're playing, like, Paradise Mantles, and you go, like, Paradise Mantle, Glimmer Void, I'll be honest, I'm feeling pretty good about that Glimmer Void going to be around for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't see them, like, wasting the card to kill the Paradise Mantle.
If they have a card to kill Paradise Mantle, they're going to do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, congratulations on your Fury Charm, right?
Yeah.
With that Fury Charm, it gets in there. But you know, beyond that, you should be turn 2 Stinger, you know, turn 3 whatever, you know, and then, you know, turn 4, turn 5, you're going to be able to play a Manta that is actually as many counters as you can possibly put on it. That's why this card is good. Otherwise, stay away like the plague. Yeah. Terramorphic Expanse, don't stay away from this one.
All right, this is one of my favorite cards. I've just always loved Terramorphic Expanse and Evolving Wild. Every time there's a format without one, about like a month in, I'm just like, why didn't they not just print one of these? Like, we just need this fixing. Like, I wanted it returned to Ravnica. I was like, I really just wanted an Evolving Wilds in this format, just to help out a little bit, not just be all these, like, tap lands and guild gates and things like that.
Yeah, but I mean, how dare they give you, like, actual dual lands that come into play tap versus, like, the Terramorphic Expanse. I think it's cool.
Good.
These cards are super, super good. It's a way, and they did this, I think, back in, this is 2010, like M10, like the original, like, new core set that has new cards in it. And this is the way to give you the fixed sack land, the fixed fetch land. And, you know, it's a fine card. It's going to go in all the domain decks. It's going to go in the 3-color decks. 2-color decks don't want it.
Not really, no.
And you don't pick it normally super high unless you're just, like, desperate for the fixing. But sometimes you do.
Yeah, you'll need it. I mean, we're going to get to the Vivids right now, but, like, it feels like the Sunburst and the Domain are going to be the same deck, but they're also fighting because there's, like, lands for one and lands for the other. And It's a pretty unique, actually. I can't wait to see how it actually plays out.
It's true. So that blings us. Oh, it could bling us.
So we got YOLO Swaggins again.
YOLO Swaggins have showed up, and he has looked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. The final 5 cards of Modern Masters, which are the Vivids, which were a mistake in Standard. Why? They should have only had 1 charge counter on them, not 2. And from everything I've ever heard from like Wizards R&D, they recognize that.
Or they shouldn't have printed Reflecting Pool. Like there's just multiple things.
Or Reflecting Pool didn't have to exist, and it would have been fine. Yeah, there was mistakes made back then in Lorwyn Block, and this was one of them. However, like these are terrific lands. The Domain deck obviously wants them. The Sunburst cards obviously want them. Just the 3 color, like literally, if you're playing more than 2 colors, you just snap pick up a Vivid.
Yeah, they're so good.
Does not matter. Like if you're playing black, red, white, blue, and you see the black Vivid, you just, whatever. You see a Vivid Crag, just take it.
Sometimes fine. Yeah, it's usually okay. You'll be fine with it.
Well, yeah, I mean because it just fixes. It's coming to play tap. It fixes your mana perfectly for 2 turns, and then it's a colorless land. And like that alone is fine. It's not going to be better than a good creature. It's not going to be better than removal or whatever. It's going to be a good card that fixes mana in a unique way. And that's really awesome. So,
that's a set review.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys at home have joined us for hours and hours of talking about Magic cards.
And I love it. I can't wait for the next time because there's actually something special, and I'm just making sure that we all have to stay with each other. And like, we did say the next set review we'd be doing it.
We said M14.
We did say M14,
so we're going to stick to M14.
I want them to just make sure they know
that in M14, things will happen to my face that I might not be okay with.
Can we just like actually tell them what's going to happen?
Yeah. I'm going to get a pie to the face because of what Blood Scrivener didn't show up.
No, there's 3. We've had 3 pie bets.
3 pie bets.
We've had 3, and I've won all 3.
God.
So I'm going to like take 1. I'm going to give Jerry 1. I'm going to give Todd 1. We're all just going to have some fun.
This is going to be great.
Yeah.
This is going to be awesome.
And then you'll learn one day not to bet with me.
I have won bets in other realms. Not necessarily this one.
Nope.
And that's okay.
All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Evan Irwin.
I'm Brad Nelson.
And we love the fact that you hang out with us so much every time we do one of these things. For all of us and all the crew who stayed here super late so we can get all this done, we are all tapping the cards.
So you don't have to.